Okay, Mr. President, before you continue, I'm Marvin Mabonga. I come from Kimilili constituency in Bungoma County. So, Mr. President, before you go, I want to let you know that in your cabinet, currently we are having so many incompetent cabinet secretaries. For instance, let me give you an example of your friend, Kipchumba Murkomen. Kipchumba Murkomen did law. He has never been in any law firm in this country. He has never won any case. But currently, he's heading the Ministry for Road and Transport. My question is, between where is the conjunction between the Ministry of Transport and a lawyer?
All right, don't be lost. That's the Kenyan addressing his president. Let me give you a preamble to what happened. You all recall that there's been a massive protest in Kenya for the past week. There was a bill on the floor of the National Assembly that will help to increase taxes in Kenya. So Kenyans stepped into on the streets to do a massive protest against the president, William Ruto. Now, William Ruto delayed in withdrawing that bill and some persons died, but he finally withdrew the bill from the Senate. They even went into the Senate and shut down the Senate, chased out all the parliamentarians out of the floor of the Senate. But finally, William Ruto withdrew the bill. But Kenyans are saying, no, you delayed in withdrawing that bill. You delayed in yielding to our request. You delayed in listening to us. For that, you must resign. So they staged another protest saying that William Ruto must resign. Now that protest gained momentum and William Ruto became scared. So he was begging them. So he started making some changes. What he did, he closed down the office of the first lady and the office of the second lady, because according to the citizens, these offices are gulping too much money. So he closed it down and reduced the salary of the National Assembly members and the salary of his cabinet members. But Kenyans were not satisfied. They said they needed more and that he must go. So what he did, he held a Twitter space with them to plead with them and listen to them so he can, effect more change. So that was a Twitter space that he was holding with them, and someone stood up and they told him to his face that your government is full of incompetent people. Just imagine the situation. Bola Ahmed Tinubu holding a Twitter space with Nigerians. Sometimes when I look at what is happening in other countries and I begin to hope, how did I find myself in Nigeria? How did I find myself in Nigeria? Anyway, let me don't waste most of your time. I want you to listen to the full conversation that Kenyans had with their president on Twitter space. He came to that Twitter space to listen to them. Watch out.
Okay,
Mr. President, before you continue, I'm Marvin Mabonga. I come from Kimilili constituency in Bungoma County. So, Mr. President, before you go, I want to let you know that in your cabinet, currently we are having so many incompetent cabinet secretaries. For instance, let me give you an example of your friend, Kipchumba Murkomen. Kipchumba Murkomen did law. He has never been in any law firm in this country. He has never won any case. But currently, he's heading the Ministry for Road and Transport. My question is, where is the conjunction between the Ministry of Transport and a lawyer? In that department, you should be putting there a person who has done even civil engineering, who knows so much about construction. Lastly, the Minister for Agriculture. That person, he even doesn't have a bachelor's. We all know this information. We have the government's website and we Google, we see this information. So, Mr. President, if you are going to give us those people who are incompetent, then we are totally doomed. When we elected you as the president, normally they say, you set a thief to catch a thief. But this time round, when we elected you, Mr. President, that you can help us now catch those people who are corrupt in this nation, you're just there laughing with them. Look at Oscar Sudi. He's flaunting with 20 million in a bag in a public forum. I'm even told that there is one of the cabinet minister who was caught in Dubai with 20 million cash, and you actually came through him, so he wasn't taken to a court somewhere or arrested. You know that, Mr. President. Personally, where I sit, I want to pay my rent by 10th. But because I finished campus, I don't have any job anywhere. I'm just here in the city seated. I will not be able to pay that rent because you promised to give us the jobs. But when we elected you, you are now telling us that in the next 1 year, we are not going to employ the youth. Mr. President, do you think that one is not a lie? Lastly, the other day you said, when you were questioned about the boy who was shot, you didn't know whether he was alive or dead. But now you know that the person who shot that boy is not the police officer. Mr. President, do you think that is a reality? That one is not a reality. I'm very angered person because every time we get to those public offices, we are treated like trash. And that's why the other day I was even on the forefront. You can watch the videos. I was on the forefront in those protests to demand for my right. And now here, Mr. President, you are just taking us through the corners. You are not even going straight to the point. Kindly go straight to the point. When you are asked about the person who is corrupt, you say, this person is corrupt. He has been working with millions of money. Tell us, Omanga bought 60 with 50 million a vehicle which he is flaunting now on social media. Apart from that, tell us that this fertilizer was fake, even as much as it was dropped from 7,000 to 2,000, it is full of soil. So why are we playing games with the public money, with the money that our mothers and fathers are going through sweat to get it, Mr. President? Wherever we are not happy. And of course, if these things are going to happen this way, then come 2027, we are going to come out in large numbers, Mr. President. We'll take votes and we'll take those people home, including you. If at all you are not going to fight for our own rights as your people in this nation. Thank you so much. I'm very angered, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend Martin. I understand your anger, and you are perfectly in order to be angry because the situation where you are in, out of university, without a job, is something that I have lived through myself. In fact, when I finished university, I did not get a job until I was elected as a member of parliament. But that's not for another day. But let me tell Martin that next week, for example, as part of our housing program, just hold on. As part of our housing program, we will be hiring 3,600 professionals like yourself. I want to challenge you, Martin. There will be an advertisement next week for engineers, architects, quantity surveyors, and many in the construction field, because we are looking for people who are going to work with our professional firms in our housing program. Let me also tell you, Martin, that we need to separate the issues that are correct and the issues that are fake news. The issue of some minister being found in Dubai, I don't know, last week, with $200 million or something, is fake news. That is not true. On matters to do with people you have mentioned were in different areas, today I am here as a scientist, right? And many other people are doing many things from fields they did not necessarily train in, because at a certain level, it is a management issue. It is a leadership issue. It is an issue about leading an organization. So I have heard you on some of the incompetent people you have said, some of the corrupt people you have said. I have listened to you. But let me say this to the public. Of the fertilizer of the fertilizer that we supply to the Kenyan public, almost 6 million bags, 20,000 bags were the ones with a challenge. We isolated the 20,000 bags. It is not even 1% of the fertilizer that we supplied to the Kenyan public. I do not want an impression to be created as though the fertilizer we supply to the people of Kenya in millions had any challenge. And when we detected a problem with the 20,000, we not only recalled the ones that had not been sold, but we made sure that
our Nini is on Google Map.
I made sure that any farmer who had used fertilizer that was not correct was compensated. They were given an extra bag of fertilizer for them so that they don't end up in losses. I have heard you, Martin, as I have heard all the good people here. But let me say this in closing. This feedback is very
close, but
Please, can I also have an opportunity to speak, Mr. President, before you finish?
If you can be brief, if you can be brief.
Alright, for this video, that's all I could get from that conversation. But I promise you, I'm going to bring the entire conversation they had with the president to you, the full length of that conversation. Now, how do you feel? Listening to your president talking to you, you ask your president question and he responds to you. How do you feel? In our own very eyes, Nigerians, Kenyans are redefining their destiny. In our own very eyes, Kenyans are transforming their country. In our own very eyes, Kenyans are changing their country. They are changing their leadership. I don't think there was any time that Uhuru Kenyatta was held this ransom. I don't think there was any time that the president has gone on a Twitter space to engage the people. An African president, I don't think that has ever happened. But this is happening in Kenya, a country of young people who decided to take their destiny in their own hand. And I don't think Kenyans are suffering worse than what we are suffering in Nigeria. They have a better economy, they have a better society, they have a better rule of law than us. But just a slight change in their economy, they took to the streets. Nigerians, why are we enabling what is happening in our country? Why are we giving politicians the right to destroy our life? I want you to have a retrospect of your life. 8 years ago, under President Muhammadu Buhari, what did you achieve? How did this country move forward? You now have Bola Ahmed Tinubu. How is he moving this country forward? I want you to ask yourself a very sincere question. In the next 4 years of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will your life be better? Will this country change? Why are we coward in our own country? Why are we captured slave in our own country? Look at what is happening in Kenya. Can you see how the president is talking to them? Exactly what they are saying in Kenya is what we are experiencing in this country. Putting round peg in square holes. The power minister is a lawyer. What does he know about power? People are manning different ministries that they know nothing about. They don't even have expertise about it. And we call ourselves a progressive country. How are we going to progress with all of this? Look at what is happening in the National Assembly. All they care about is to pad budget and loot money that is meant for their constituency. Look at what happened in Kenya. They went to the National Assembly and chased away the parliamentarians. Nigerians, when are we going to stand up? When are we going to rise up against these people that are destroying our life? Do you see what is happening in Kenya? They are redefining their destiny. They are taking their destiny in their hand. And I can tell you, after this whole process is done, Kenya will be a more stable country. It will move forward. While your country, Nigeria, keep going backward. Nigeria that used to be the biggest economy in Africa is nowhere to be found anymore. Go and check your GDP per capita. Even Ghana here is far ahead of Nigeria in terms of GDP per capita. Why? Because we allow incompetent people to rule over us. When President Muhammadu Buhari took over in 2015, Nigeria was rated the third fastest growing economy in Africa, in the world. But that status has been eroded. President Muhammadu Buhari destroyed that status, destroyed the economy. Rather than holding grudges against him, rather than voting him and his party out, you see allow APC to remain in power. Today, our GDP per capita that used to be close to $4,000 is now $1,000. Under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we are going backwards. Nigerians, when are we going to stand up for our right and defend this country? This country belongs to you and I. If you and I don't fix this country, nobody will. And you think japping to another person's country will solve it? Don't worry. Trump will become the president. He's going to do what we call mass immigration. All these migrants, he said he's going to deport all of them. Is that what you want to be left with? Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.